The perfect game of the week, takes us to the famous East Cobb Baseball Complex just outside of Atlanta in Marietta. It's always baseball season, but it feels like it in May. Got a good one for you today. The Gem City Throwbacks, a 14U squad against Wow Factor Nation. I'm Brett Dolan, delighted to be with you. Time for baseball today. Our game of the week brought to you by Launch Hydrate. Our visiting team, the Gem City Throwbacks out of Dayton, Ohio. Let's take a look at the lineup that we will see here this afternoon. These teams will be batting 10. It's Ogden, Oppenheimer, Worley, the top three. Then Fraley, Sawyer, Brennan, Adams, Price, Troutner, and Mastro will be in left field. Coach Johnny King, a squad against Dayton, Ohio. The home team will be Wow Factor, so they'll be in the field for this 7-inning game. We'll see how over the course of this afternoon. We'll introduce you to these players, these teams, these organizations and coaches as well. A game preceding this one on the turf field there at East Cobb. So these teams had to get ready quickly. And already Gem City has the helmets on and ready to face Marcus Blackman. Should be on the mound for Wow Factor. It's a fun age group, 14. I think they all are, but so much promise and anticipation for these young men. Graders, the class of 2028, really kind of cranking up their summer campaign and tested in this event. It is the 14U PG Southeast Spring World Series. So teams from the state, the region, but around the country as well. A chance to go head-to-head early in the year to kind of see how you stack up, how your players perform, what you need to work on, what you feel pretty good about, and start to build for the rest of May and June and in July and the summer. So Wow Factor is taking the field out of Memphis, Tennessee. Their head coach, Evan Einhardt, will give you their lineup when they bat in the bottom of the first. But on the mound, at least to begin our game of the week, is Marcus Blackman. So right-hander out of Maryland. See his numbers from a year ago. And again, these are from the class of 2028. The high school camp will be soon approaching for them next year. One more chance to kind of get out and start this summer season early. So the 5'10 right-hander also plays shortstop, will begin on the mound. So we might see 2 or 3 different pitchers over the course of this game, especially if we go the allotted 7, because this is just part of a larger event. So indeed, you won't see many 5 or 6 inning performances. Some of these guys playing other positions or may have pitched previously or will a little bit later on over the course of this week. Slightly overcast skies in Atlanta today. Mother Nature has caused some problems around the country from a college baseball standpoint and even for some of these youth events. But the turf fields certainly do help. It allows us to continue to play, but right now 73 degrees, a little bit overcast. Our umpires ready, head coaches as well. Johnny King, the head coach for Gem City. Evan Einhardt for Wow Factor. Darren Sutton had a chance to introduce and interview both men for some of the PG shows this week and share some of the thoughts these guys have about their organizations. Very proud of their teams, their kids. Obviously, the parents are a big part of that as well as they prepare these men for a busy summer and, of course, high school baseball coming up next year. Not very windy today, but it is humid. It's hot Atlanta, but I bet that feels pretty good to be out there away from Ohio or whatnot. For some of the other teams that are part of this event, the 14U PG Southeast Spring World Series. And Derek Ogden, just about ready to step in to begin things, the shortstop for Gem City. Young man from Hamilton, Ohio. He's a big Alex Bregman fan. Loves the level of confidence he plays with. We'll see if Derek does the same. He's got the eye black on, steps in from the right side, and we're underway with ball 1 from Blackman. Blackman working quickly already, and that pitch is on the outside corner for a called strike. Ogden Wade swings, and he's going to roll one up the middle on the turf. Fielded by Edwards. His throw to first base was not scooped by Rothbard. He tried to pick it, unable to do so, and Ogden able to reach to begin the top of the first inning. This was a skimmer on the turf. Thought maybe it might sneak up the middle. Edwards able to get to his left. Played that off the side of the mound. His throw a little bit low. And Rothbard could not come up with it. This is Andrew Oppenheimer, next man in. The pitcher that we'll see on the mound in the bottom of the first inning. Flip to first and Ogden back in diving. Andrew goes by Druzy, Beaver Creek, Ohio native. Gonna take a big hack and fouls one back to the screen. These kids are still several years away from getting an opportunity to commit to colleges and whatnot. We like to ask them what is their desire, their dream school. For him, it would be Vanderbilt. Probably a few other Ohio kids might say the same thing. Big kid, though, 5'9". And that breaking ball drifts off the corner. Pretty good pitch by Blackman, but Oppenheimer would not chase. Oppenheimer, the son of Michael and Jennifer. Got a couple of older brothers, I'm sure, that have been involved in his bulge. That pitch is down. Ogden is running. The throw, it's going to be close. And did he make it? He went skidding on that turf, trying to find ace. Not a bad ball from Sizemore. Ogden's going to get the steal. And little pitter those steps before he got into full stride, and the throw bounced, and it wasn't caught cleanly. So it was going to be a bang-bang play had Edwards held on. Ogden gets the stolen base. That man in scoring position, and that pitch down and out to Oppenheimer. Really does crowd the plate over that inside corner. That pitch is down, not caught by Sizemore, and that is ball 4. So, a couple of base runners for Gem City right out of the gates. So Blackman will have to work with some traffic, and a left-handed hitter here in Cyrus Worley. Spring, Ohio native. From Kenton Ridge School, wide open stance. Hands low. Pitch is maybe just a little bit in. It wasn't caught cleanly. I thought Blackman might get that. Another guy that wants to play in the SEC, maybe for LSU or Florida or Vanderbilt. King's going to run at first. Run for the pitcher. Big physical kid at 180 pounds is Worley. That one just rides way outside from Blackman. Worley said his travel team has really helped him work on the little things of his game. How to represent himself, play the game the right way, kind of deal with adversity. He was showing bunt way ahead in the count, forcing Blackman to throw a strike, and he did just that. Worley, though, a big Bryce Harper fan. Maybe that has something to do with that wide open stance from the left side, ready to do some damage. Ball's tagged down the line in right, and was that ball caught? How about the effort from Franks in right? That was going to lock up the base runners had that ball dropped, but Franks never gave up on it. Pursuing the baseball down the line and able to lay out here at the end. Well, that's a lot of ground to cover in fair territory. Lost his hat, went into a tumble. Dane Franks, though, able to make the catch, and that really helps out Blackman. So a big first out for Garrett Fraley. Closed stance. Looks a little bit like Giancarlo Stanton, doesn't he? With that stance in the box, with that size, and with that front foot so far in front of the other. 5'11", 160 pounds, another Ohio kid. And again, Gem City based out of Dayton, which is the Gem City. Big hack from Fraley. Up there, swinging early. He goes by G Money. Love to play at Tennessee someday. Son of Sean and Michelle. Pair of bright yellow batting gloves as well. That is on the corner for strike 3. And you might get a little bit off that corner for these 14 kids. Sometimes they need a little bit of help, and Fraley thought that was outside, and maybe at a higher level it was, but you see where Sizemore had set up. For the most part, that pitch kind of hit the target, and Fraley got 2 big hacks and took strike 3, and that's 2 outs. So Blackman able to bounce back from the air, the stolen base and the walk to get 2 outs, and then misses up and into Keegan Sawyer. Sawyer hoping to continue this inning. He's a Cincy guy. Goes by Keegs. Harrison Junior School, junior high. Off his hands, and he hammers one foul. Sawyer, a big Patrick Lee fan behind the plate. Loves how he works with pitchers and whatnot. Right now, he's in the box and trying to pick up a runner, too. That pitch is high, and I think the runners were off and going. At least the lead runner, Ogden, was. No throw by Sizemore. Didn't catch it cleanly. That's the second stolen base for Ogden in this sequence. Boy, felt like maybe he caught Blackman napping just a bit, able to cruise into third base without a throw. Trail runner, the pinch runner, didn't take off. So they're on the corners now. And Blackman's going to break contact. So Blackman trying to navigate some trouble here in the top of the first inning. That pitch had a lot of run, maybe too much. It's kind of faded down and in to the right-handed batter, Keegan Sawyer. So an advantage count now for Keegan. 3-1 the count. He stands close to that inside corner as well, and that pitch ran over the outside edge for a called strike. So now the count has gone full. King running for Oppenheimer. Be able to take off early. A ball to the gap on the turf that might bounce to the fence. Could score a pair and put Gem City on the board first in a perfect game of the week. Blackman ready at his pitch. Hit into center field, and that is a base hit at a plate. Ogden with the first run, so Sawyer just kind of muscled that in center. Picks up the single, the first hit, drives in the first run. He was in swing mode here. Maybe a little bit in on the hands, but able to dump it in front of Roberts in center. Cash in that leadoff air and produce a run for Gem City. So Blackman was close to navigating some trouble to get out of the frame. Here is Knox Brenning, the right fielder, another left-handed batter. He's going to swing and foul one back and out of play. Tell you what, these are big kids stepping into this batter's box. Not even high school players yet, and that's in there for a strike. Brenning from Powell, Ohio. Says he always wants to get better every time he steps on the field. That pitch down. Well, it's going to skip and get behind Sizemore, so it'll mean a free base for both. That could be big. Now a base hit might play 2 more runs if Brennan can deliver. King at third, Sawyer at second. Brennan, son of Ty and Jen. See what he gets to hit here. That pitch rides way outside. He's a big Boston Red Sox fan from there in Ohio. Like many of these kids at this age, though, they play multiple sports. A football player, a basketball player. Got a pitch to hit. Drills one to right, and that ball will drop, I think, in front of Franks. No, he made the catch. What an effort by Franks. That was his second diving play of the inning. He laid out earlier to Rob Worley, took a hit away from running, and saved a couple of runs. Boy, Dane Franks having a big inning in the field. Swing from Brenning. He thought he had a couple of runs batted in. Catch was made, and Gem City settles for a run in the top of the first. Welcome back to East Cobb, a half inning in the books for our perfect game of the week, brought to you by Launch Hydrate, and off to a pretty good start from a defensive standpoint. Couple of great plays. Here's your wow factor lineup. This 14U team out of Memphis, Tennessee, coached by Evan Einhart. Rakocheski, Edwards, and Morris will be the top three. We'll see. Then Franks, who made that diving play. See the rest of the wow factor lineup. Players ranking as well on the right side of the screen. We'll introduce you to them as we go along. We saw Andrew Oppenheimer in the box. In fact, he drew a walk in the top of the first inning. Now we'll get a chance to see him on the mound. So a left-hander, Oppenheimer, Beaver Creek, Ohio native. One of the players he emulates, really enjoys watching, is Spencer Strider. Well, he's a lefty. But Strider's a right-hander nonetheless. Says Spencer has some nasty stuff and really kind of taught him to drive off the mound with your lower body. So we'll see if Oppenheimer has any of those characteristics. He says his pitching has improved and he's added a number of miles an hour to his fastball. But spent a lot of time in the offseason working on getting stronger. And that's, I think, a theme you'll hear a lot from these young men. It's just an obvious standpoint when you're 14 years old, whatnot. You've got several years to continue to play in the amateur ranks. Just get bigger and stronger and faster, whatever that takes. First man in, Cam Rakocheski, and you saw his perfect game rank as we threw up the starting lineups for wow factor in the top 55 in the country. Greencastle, Pennsylvania native. He's a big fan of Ellie De La Cruz, and the first one from Oppenheimer goes to the backstop. Wide open stance for Rakocheski. I will say, we do appreciate him phonetically spelling out his name because Rakacze WSKI might cause a little bit of trepidation. Pretty good pitch on the outside corner for a called strike. Cam, though, growing up, always wanted to compete against the best in the country, play in a national travel ball team. And when he got this opportunity with wow factor, his work ethic, he said, really kind of shot up. It's what iron sharpens iron, right? Bringing out the best in players. He's behind in the count here, 1-2, and that one nearly went right through him. He had to kind of dance out of the way. I thought maybe his towel out of his back pocket might get hit by that pitch. Son of Melissa and Jason, really on that inside line of the batter's box in Oppenheimer's pitch. Poke to the right side, but right at Fraley. He was in the path of that ground ball, able to scoop it, retire Rakocheski, and pick up the first out in the bottom of the first. Always a good start to get that first out. Maybe not deal with traffic right away, kind of settle in just a bit. Next up is Braylon Edwards. He is the shortstop from Madison, Mississippi. Rodney and Joetta, his parents. Another guy who really stands on the inside line of the batter's box, wanting to be able to handle anything that's off that outside corner. Edwards, another Ellie De La Cruz fan. He said they play the same position, have a similar playing style. So if that's the case for Braylon, he'll be a fun guy to watch today. Ellie, of course, a switch hitter. Braylon also is a Jazzism Jr. fan. Another guy, he says, has a very kind of similar style of play that he does. Tell you what, though, Oppenheimer trying to be around the zone, work fairly quickly, holds that glove right up against his chest. And the pitch had a lot of movement. Got a strike called. That was a bit of a sweeper. Started on the side corner and rode in to Edwards, but went with the 2-1 or 2-0 breaking ball. Edwards saw that one out of the hands and laid off. Braylon also a basketball player, runs some track as well. Waiting on a pitch to hit. That one came so far in and missed. So Braylon Edwards will become the first base runner for Wow Factor again at a Memphis, Tennessee, and they'll try and get that run back that Gem City scored with 2 outs in the top of the first here at the famous East Cobb Baseball Complex. This is Emerson Morris, one of the extra hitters. Again, teams will bat 10. They'll throw in an extra hitter. In essence, maybe a second DH, just to try and be able to get as many guys into this lineup as possible. Maybe for some of our non-televised games, you might get away with even batting 11 or more. Teams have about 14, 15 guys on their roster. Pretty short lead for Edwards, and he'll draw a throw. Oppenheimer, pretty simple from that delivery, kind of a slide step. He was fast to the plate, throwing a lot of breaking balls early, maybe wanting to be quick to his catcher, Price. Ready to go again. That one is a liner that is caught at second base by Troutner. Boy, that was something. Good catch. Talked a lot about Dane Franks in the top of this inning with what he did defensively. This was the play he made. Looked like it was going to be a 2-run hit. If that ball gets down, in fact, that's more than a single. That might keep bounding on the turf. And now we get to see Franks in the box. There was a strike. And a throw down to second base. Edwards able to get the steal. So, tell you what, when you play on these televised games, you love to kind of make your mark early, and Dane Franks did that. Illinois native going with the pink wrap on those wrists. Another left-handed bat. And he watches that drift on that outside corner for a called strike. Has to hit in the terms of Oppenheimer. Got a tough breaking ball and able to spoil it, get a piece, and foul it back. Not a lot of margin of error on the turf. When you lay out and you dive, if you don't make that catch, it could really be trouble. But Franks made not one but two. An Orion Middle School product. He'd love to play at Tennessee, LSU, or whatnot. A steal attempt at third. Edwards is going to be out. With the left-handed batter, Price was able to have a good path to third. Let's hope Edwards is okay. Price with the throw, and it was a good one down to Worley. Got a high pitch, bit of a high throw, good tag, and the inning ends. Always a stunning view to bring you into Marietta, Georgia. East Cobb Baseball Complex. If those trees and those fields could talk with all the players they have seen over many decades, not just as talented Georgia players or those that live in Atlanta, but those that have come from far and wide to play some of these perfect game events. We've seen a couple of great defensive plays already. A couple of catches by Franks in the top of the first. Nice throw and tag to cut down Braylon Edwards to end last inning, trying to steal third. He was down when we went to break. He popped up. He's back at short. Jackson Adams, center fielder, is going to lead off against Blackman. Gem City's been an organization that has been operating since 2006. Even just the name Throwbacks, I think, gives you a pretty good indication of what they're all about. They like old school baseball players, play the game the same way our parents, grandparents did. Throwbacks, if you will. Play smart, treat teammates, the game with respect. And Jackson Adams sends one foul down the line and right. Once you start to get into that second decade, we're able to remember some of the players that have come through, certainly some of the teams as well, some of these PG events. This was popped up. Who wants it? The shortstop Edwards made the call. His teammate Davis was drifting over. It's not a sunny day. It's not a windy day, so it's a pretty good afternoon to catch some pop-ups, but you don't want any collisions. So Adams retired. Again, always important to get those first out. Not sure how many pitches these coaches want their pitchers to throw in this event. You like to be economical. Lucas Price in. He's the catcher. He made that throw down to third base to erase Edwards to end last inning. Took a high throw and made a quick toss. Kettering, Ohio native. Someday wouldn't mind playing for Ohio State, LSU, maybe Miami of Ohio. Son of Mike and Melody. Got a pitch to hit and fouled it back. Said the elite pitchers that they face gives him a good challenge when hitting. Helps him work on the mental side of the game when he gets out. A pitch is on the corner for a strike. Had a little bit of fade, but it caught that outside edge. Price is the Joey Votto fan. He's always funny, and he is, and he hits home runs. He's right. That's a good piece of hitting as he pokes one over the leap of Davis and then down the line towards the monster. See if Price might be able to get to second base. He's on the march. He'll slide in safely with the double. Boy, he took a pitch on the outside corner with 2 strikes. Able to poke it down the line, and let's see it again. Lucas Price went out to get this one. Bit on that front foot, but kept that barrel in the zone long enough to bloop it on the carpet and then watch it roll. Toadvine trying to throw that towards second base, but Price, the catcher, wanted a chance to get a double and did. And the throwback getting an unearned run in the top of the first, would love to cash in another. This is Remy Troutner, second baseman. Pinch runner as well for your catcher. Carson King, coach's son, gonna run. That's on the outside corner for a cold strike. Pitch had some sink to it, but it's chopped down the third base line, but foul. Davis gloved it, but across the foul line. Remy Troutner goes by the Remster, or Remy. Just kind of poked that in play. Is this in no man's land? The flip to first. In time to get Troutner. Another good defensive play. I wasn't sure if there was going to be time to make this one. But watch the flip. Kind of a soft dribbler towards second base. Kind of a glove shovel, if you will, and an extension by Rothbar. Really good effort to get that second out. This will bring up Nico Mastro, the left fielder. With Gem City looked like they had the base hit, but a really nice play made at second base. So 2 outs in the inning. That one fades down and in from Blackman. Working quickly, and that pitch is letter high, but cut on a miss. Go down on strikes. Blackman able to get the strikeout. So a runner stranded. Inning and a half done. 1-0 Gem City at our perfect game of the week. One to nothing as we go to the bottom of the second inning. Gem City in front. Wow factor to back. Couple of hits. Gem City got their run in the top of the first inning. Oppenheimer back out there to work. He allowed a walk, but also had a nice defensive play made behind him on a caught stealing to end the inning with Dane Franks in the box. He'll be free to bat again. The fresh count to begin the bottom of the second inning. Part of the 14U PG Southeast Spring World Series. And again, this is just part of what they have going this week. It's not just one game, it's several games, but one we can bring to you here on PerfectGame.tv. Third baseman this inning, Keegan Sawyer for Gem City. Here's Fox again. Lefty-lefty matchup to begin our bottom of the second inning. Try to keep that bat in the zone. Skies it in the air to center field. This ball's got some carry. Did we have another diving catch? We did. It's laid out on the turf, able to make the play to Rob. Made 2 catches to the opponents in the top of the first inning. He might have got robbed here. This was a long run. I wasn't sure if Mastro might take it or Adams. Adams never gave up on it. Batting is Roberts. This is in the air to right field, hanging up there for Brenning to be able to make the catch. So a fly ball to center with a diving play, and then a fly ball to right. Knocks Brenning. Was playing medium depth, kind of straight up. This ball was in the air long enough for him to get over and camp underneath it. This is Sizemore. Saw him behind the plate. Sizemore is going to sky that in the air down the line and right, but this one will bend and be it. Sizemore, Kentucky native. Yadi Molina fan. Sends another one in the air down the line and right. Going to bend at a play. Madison Central Middle School. Son of Chris and Kara. Down in the count. Here's the breaking ball, and that's a dandy. Oppenheimer snapped off the curveball to end the inning. A 1-2-3 frame. We've seen our fair share of diving catches. What an effort in center by Adams. Never to give up on this baseball to begin the frame. Took one away from Franks. Defense has been on full display through 2 innings in our perfect game of the week. Two innings complete with our perfect game of the week on this Saturday, brought to you by Launch Hydrate. Gym City out of Dayton, Ohio. Wow Factor out of Memphis, Tennessee. A 1-0 score. Ogden led off the game, reached on an air, stole a couple of bases, scored on a 2-out single from Sawyer. That's it against Blackman, who's back to the mound here in the third. He's worked through the lineup, 10 hitters one time, and now he'll get a look the second time around. Starting with Derek Ogden. Right back in that leadoff spot. Here is Ogden. He was able to reach on a ground ball up the middle that was bounced over to first. Then stole second base, stole third base, scored on a 2-out single. What he's improved most on over the last year or so has been his communication with his teammates on and off the field. Pretty important for a shortstop to do that when it comes to handling pop-ups, whatnot, encouraging your pitcher. Person that inspires him, though, has been his grandfather. Be the best that he can every day. This ball out there towards center field. Handled by Roberts. Seen a few balls in the air, pop-ups, fly balls, and great job by the outfielders from one man to another. So Roberts able to track that one down to retire Ogden with the first out. Here's Oppenheimer. We've seen him bat once, seen him on the mound. He walked his only time in, and that is well placed from Blackman right on that outside corner for a called strike. Knee high, didn't need the benefit of maybe an extra inch or so off that outside edge. Oppenheimer is going to swing here. He's going to send one into right field. Davis was shaded a couple of steps over towards second base, and then Oppenheimer punches one into right for the base hit. Third hit, I believe, for Gem City so far. Little humpback line drive the other way. So Gem City's had a hit in every inning, and this is Cyrus Worley. Go to first instead. See if maybe we brought in another pinch runner for the pitcher, Oppenheimer. He was run for back in the first. Seen our share of left-handed hitters as well as Worley takes one down and in.
Are you serious? I know I want to go. I love mine.
Carson King is going to run at first for Oppenheimer, so he's been busy. That pitch fades low and inside. Worley said last year he had trouble hitting the high fastball, so this past offseason is really something he's worked on. Feels like now he's kind of crushing the high fastballs. So I'm wondering if that little squat and that stance might have something to do with his ability now to get to that high pitch. Get those hands engaged, ready to go. He flew out to right his only time in. One of the plays that Franks made that was pretty impressive that kept Gem City from maybe having an even bigger inning. He's going to roll that one into right for a base hit. So Oppenheimer single to right. Worley able to roll one out towards Franks and a couple of singles back-to-back with one out in the third for Gem City. Nothing complicated here. Able to get that low pitch and just serve it between first and second. Cleanup hitter Garrett Fraley, next man in. He was called out on strikes in his only previous at-bat. Now he's going to hit with a couple of guys on base for G-Money. He loves watching his big brother play. Plays with so much heart, he says, and that one just carries off the outside corner for a strike. Football player, basketball player. Probably a really good athlete is Fraley, batting cleanup on this Throwbacks baseball team. Good pitch. That is a low strike right at the parameter of the zone to a tall hitter and able to paint it. Fraley, though, broke a wrist in football. Had to play with his arm wrapped in a cast. Doesn't sound like a lick of fun on either end. First the break or then playing with the cast. Scouting report, a disciplined hitter, plenty of power and speed. Ahead in the count, 2 balls and a strike. Well, that pitch has had some run. At times, Blackman's thrown that where he's kind of started it over the heart of the plate and then watched it tail in a bit to the righties, but Fraley saw that the entire time, did not chase, did not offer. You could see where you'd want to pitch this guy in, not let him get extended, or be able to catch that outside corner as Blackman did. King at second, Worley at first. The only run so far in our game of the week was unearned in the top of the first inning. That's it. Pretty good defense, pretty good pitching. Hard hit. That ball knocked down, but no play. Tagged by Fraley. Edwards couldn't come up with it cleanly. I thought if that ball would find him on a hard bounce, maybe there was going to be a chance to turn two, at least get that force. You see it again, the runners were going. That might have caused the problems, kind of a high bounce. Once Edwards had the brief bobble, he went ahead and threw it anyhow. But the bases are loaded for Keegan Sawyer. Now, he has the only RBI in this game. He singled for a run in the first. He's going to roll one into left here for another hit and another RBI, and Gem City leads 2-0. So Keegan Sawyer doesn't even allow us a second chance to introduce him. He's up there hacking, able to single in the pinch runner King and make 2-0. Right between third and short. So 4 straight have reached. A couple of balls have been on the ground this inning. So if you're Blackman, you'd like to get those at somebody with a little fortune, but they've been able to reach the outfield or at least get the runners on base with the case of Fraley. And Knox Brenning fouls one back. Another lefty, and the pitch to Brenning is tap foul. Max Brenning, a 4.0 student, also umpires Little League games. That probably gives him a pretty good perspective being on the other side. But Dad is the man who inspires him, is always available, finding time to throw a bullpen with him, take him to the cages to work on his hitting. Another guy, though, that had an injury in football in the 7th grade, had a concussion, had to wear a neck brace for 3 weeks. Learning some of the adversity that comes with the nicks and the injuries and whatnot of playing multiple sports. Good job there by Sizemore to handle that one. His throw down to third base, deflected away. Not sure if that hit the runner, Worley or not. Sizemore was trying to pick off the lead runner, Worley. Maybe lucky that ball didn't find its way down the line and provide a couple of more runs. Brenning's scouting report, though, says he hits nukes. I think he'd like to hit one here. Gem City got a run in the first. So far, a run here in the third, looking to add to it, and the pitch. That's high. Brenning would not chase. Sometimes down in the count, you might be in swing mode early and see the ball out of the hands, you're ready to attack, but that was well out of the zone, so a good job to resist. Next pitch, another one on the ground. This one to second. Looking to second, no force there, so the throw by Davis went to first instead, but a run will score. Worley comes across, he makes it 3-0. Looked like Sawyer got from first to second quickly, so there wasn't a chance for a flip. Look at that lead right there. So there was just a concern about flipping that to second base. Maybe Edwards wasn't quite there. That's a good adjustment mid-play so that you don't get caught. At least there's an out that could be recorded. But Sawyer had a huge lead, which meant even a routine ground ball to second base wasn't able to get the force or have a chance for a DP. Here's Adams. He popped to short his only time in. And that could be big if Adams comes through as well, because there's 2 men in scoring position. So another ball poked to the outfield might tack on 2 more to this 3-0 lead. Ball out there to shallow left field. And it's going to take a big bounce off the carpet, and 2 more runs will score. So Adams able to dump one in front of Toadvine. Fraley and Sawyer come across. It's been a big inning. And for Blackman, he's made some pretty good pitches. This ball wasn't barreled up, but it hung in the air, and Toadvine could not just get there. There it drops. You see the big carom off the carpet. And with 2 outs, that was easily going to play 2 more runs. Lucas Price, the catcher, sent a double down the line and left. His last time in was just an inning ago. 4 have come across for Gem City here in the 3rd inning. Boy, Blackman, I feel like, has made some really good pitches. He's got some ground balls that his infielders had a couple of other ground balls that have snuck through. That one was floated out to left, but it had enough drop. Right now he wants that 3rd out. Pretty good pitch, but maybe a little bit low. Price, the catcher, trying to get his 2nd hit in as many at-bats. That's the pitch Blackman's thrown a couple of times, maybe hoping to get a chase. Really been pretty good offerings. Just a little bit out of the zone, and to Price's credit, he's not offered. That's a pretty good pitch down the middle. Price willing to take it for a strike. Price says his fastball, though, has improved about 7 miles an hour, and his pop time's gone down. So whether we see him behind the plate, maybe, who knows, pitching in some of these events, that's been a big area of growth, and I think that's pretty common. The question is, how much do each of these kids improve as they get bigger and stronger from a velo standpoint? The pitch is on the outside corner for a called strike. Obviously, strength factors into the plate, swinging the bat and whatnot. I think it's more easy to quantify sometimes if you're a pitcher with the increases in size and strength. That's going to be ball 4. Price is going to walk. That one goes to the backstop as Sizemore chases. And Adams to second and holds. First batter of the inning was Ogden. He flew out to center. Then it went single, single. Kind of an E6 for single, depending on how it was scored before the base hit from Sawyer. The ground out from Brenning. The 2-run single by Adams. And then Price threw the walk. That's on the outside corner. A called strike to Remy Troutner. Rolled out to second his only time in. On a really nice play from Davis. We didn't have a second baseman on our original lineup card, and Davis made the scoop and the club flip, so didn't give him full credit. That one goes to the backstop, so both runners move up. 2 more in scoring position for Troutner from New Albany, Ohio. He has to drive about an hour and a half for practice to be with this different team, this organization. Showing his discipline, his determination to be part of Gem City. He's a Mookie Betts fan. I thought we'd have a few of those, even from those young men living in Tennessee, Ohio, or whatnot. Troutner strokes one to behind the bag at second base. Was that play made? It was by Edwards. So he was able to find a way to make another sliding, diving catch in this game. Saved a couple of runs. And that was important because Gem City put 4 on the board to take a 5-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the third in the perfect game of the week. Welcome back to the famous East Cobb Baseball Complex in Marietta, Georgia. Perfect Game TV is available to stream for free on channel 237 on Roku. Come join us. All kinds of shows, games, events heading towards the summer with the national showcases, the junior and the sophomore national. Of course, the All-American Classic in Phoenix. So many opportunities for you to learn about young men like that one, about Holiday. The Holiday family's been a big part of our youth baseball circuit over the last 4 or 5 years. Meanwhile, we're going to go into the bottom of the third inning. Gem City with a 5-0 lead, so Wow Factor has some work to do.
Hey, 2 throws, guys.
New left fielder is Sawyer. Looks like we're going to be at third base. Here we go with Charlie. Big Papa 27 Rothball. Rockville, Maryland native. Going to be an IMG product. So Mike and Debbie, right-handed hitter. Again, Oppenheimer. Going to send one to short with that sinking liner. So Rothbard retired for the first out to begin the Wow Factor third inning. Malcolm Davis made a nice play defensively earlier. He'll bat. Told you a little bit about City earlier for Wow Factor. Think about the tools you measure a baseball player: average, speed, power, velocity, and defense. Those certainly provide the wow factor that they incorporate. 2019 baseball became wow factor nation. Pretty good sweeping pitch that finished down and in from Oppenheimer to Davis. Pitch in there for a strike. Oppenheimer looks to work fast with nobody on base. Maybe too fast there. Just missed outside to Malcolm Davis, batting in the bottom of the third with one out and the base is empty. 5-0, Gem City in front. Boy, that one just slipped out of his hands. Almost had a screwball type movement to it. See what Oppenheimer throws here to Davis. He missed down. That's ball 4. So wow factor needs some base runners, and they got one with a one-out walk. We've seen a lot of Marcus Blackmon on the mound. Probably wasn't the luckiest guy in the top of the inning with some of the ground balls that snuck through or some of the flares that drop, but now he gets his chance to bat rather than pitch, and he just gets a backdoor strike painted from Andrew Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer's been economical. You think in terms of 2, maybe 3 or 4 innings in some of these games. Maybe a tad longer if you're really efficient or economical. He's able to get through this third without too many pitches thrown or too many base runners. I'll be curious to see how long he might go. That pitch came way in to Blackmon. 1 on, 1 out, bottom of the third. Our perfect game of the week brought to you by Launch Hydrate. The event, the larger event though, we mentioned this a few times, sponsored by Racetrack, the 14U PG Southeast Spring World Series. Pitch came in and it was hammered foul. Down the line in left off the bat of Blackmon. In a sense, both of these organizations draw from just outside their immediate area, but you do have kind of an Ohio versus Tennessee type feel. There's a chopper on the carpet to third. The ball was knocked down. Will there be a play at first? Not in time. So now a couple of base runners aboard for wow factor. Kind of a high, slow chopper off the carpet. That carpet can absorb a little bit of a bounce. Trying to get that true hop and navigate the base. That was Cyrus Worley. So a quick conversation on the mound. So a chance for a wow factor. Get right back in this game with a big swing here. Brandon Toadvine, another left-handed hitter in this game. Pitch between the belt and the letter. It's missing up. Maryland native is Toadvine. He'd love to play at the University of Tennessee someday. Lefty, and that pitch is down for a ball. Son of Jenny and Rick. I guess kind of a Maryland guy would enjoy watching an Oriole player like John Means, a pitcher. Right now, though, Toadvine might want to swing it like a Heston Kjerstad or a Gunnar Henderson, some of those other Oriole stars. He was named the #1 left-handed pitcher, though, in the state of Maryland. One of the top 20 left-handed pitchers in the country. We're seeing him with the bat. Going to take a big wave and a miss. against another lefty in Oppenheimer who gets the K, so he's able to secure the second out of the inning. Well, this is a tough one to hit. I mean, that starts high, that fades right over the plate. You almost have to know it's coming to feel like you can get a good swing of that pitch and not give up on it. So a couple of runners on, but 2 outs. Reedhead batting, Arizona native. See if he might be able to provide a big swing for a wow factor. One out walk, ground ball that allowed another runner to reach. Put a couple of guys on against Oppenheimer. Reedhead, a big L.A. De La Cruz fan. Looking to drive in the first run for a wow factor, maybe a couple.
Yep.
Good pitch. Another one in there for a strike. Basha High School is where Jay Hazen will head. He'd like to play at maybe TCU, Vanderbilt, North Carolina. Chases one up and out of the zone. Oppenheimer able to get a couple of Ks to end the inning to strand a pair of base runners. On we go to the 4th inning. Gem City with Oppenheimer on the mound and with 5 runs in the bank have a 5-0 lead in our perfect game of the week. Bring you back into the famous East Cobb Baseball Complex. You see all the fields, all turf. PG's done an amazing job with the complex to allow us a high volume of games for some of these big weekends throughout the spring and the summer and into the fall as well. And we could play year-round. This is our perfect game of the week. Gem City with the lead, and Austin Hill is going to head to the mound here in the 4th inning, replacing Blackman. He's an Arkansas kid, would love to be a Razorback at some point. Son of Amanda and Kyle, so Austin Hill working with that uniquely colored glove. Should be facing 10-1-2 here in the 4th inning. Gem City got a run in the first. Tacked on 4 runs in the 3rd, and they did so with 4 singles and some free base runners. So Hill finishing up his warm-up tosses. See how many innings he might be called upon today. Big kid. Loves to watch those Razorbacks play. They're in Kentucky with a huge series this weekend. But he's really been working on solidifying his secondary pitches for better pitch sequencing. So even the terminology, the concepts, they start early. He's going to have to take that sleeve off and put that in his back pocket before he works. Should be Nico Mastro to begin this inning. And is. And the lefty's first one runs way inside. No, it ran so far in and hit Mastro. So Nico Mastro is going to get out of the way. See where it got him on the front foot. Big Mookie Betts fan is Nico Mastro. He's on base with an HBP to begin the top of the fourth inning. Back to the top of the lineup for Derek Ogden. We've seen him bat twice. He reached and scored in the first. Flew out to center his last time in and takes a pitch for a called strike. Austin Hill, 4.0 student, volunteers coaching his little brother's baseball team, facing Derek Ogden. Tell you what, that color of that glove, though, Austin Hill uses, it's not distracting, but it is different, right? It's unique considering the black unis. Calmly comes set right at his belt, and the pitch to Ogden a little bit up and out. Austin Hill says the person who inspires him the most is Mom. She always puts the brothers and him before everything else. That really gets tested once you start traveling around the country from Arkansas to Atlanta and whatnot. And we're in early May, so there's a lot of PG events and summer baseball ahead on the calendar over the next couple of months. Big lead at first for Mastro. The pitch to Ogden is stroked to left field. This ball's tagged pretty well, but the catch wasn't made, so now the wheels are in motion. Mastro's going to go to third base. Throw comes wide of the cutoff man and bounces towards the plate, but Derek Ogden put a good swing on that baseball and able to double over the head of the left fielder. Thought maybe there might be a chance for a running play, but there was a lot of ground to cover here, and watch this ball just sail and hit near the base of the monster fence, near the Yeti sign, and then it kind of kicked away. So Mastro had to anticipate that ball being caught. Then he took off and made it to third without any problem. And here is Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer is going to wave and miss. We've seen Oppenheimer on the mound as a left-handed pitcher. Now he's batting righty here against the lefty, Austin Hill. Oppenheimer singled and scored a run in the third. Also walked back in the first. Well, he's creeping up to the inside line of the box as the pitch is delivered, and this was popped straight up. Who wants it on the infield? A couple of infielders converge. Play is made by Malcolm Davis, and that's a big first out for Austin Hill to get that pop up and leave runners at second and third and not give them a chance to score. So well done. Doesn't get any easier with Cyrus Worley and then Garrett Fraley, the 3 and 4 hitters. Worley singled and scored back in the third inning. He's been working on hitting those high fastballs. Let's see what he gets from this lefty, Austin Hill. Going to step off instead. For Gem City, they'd really like to put the hammer down here in the fourth. That double from Ogden, one of a pair of extra base hits. The other was kind of a bloop double by Price back in the second. But they put some pressure on wow factor with some base runners and whatnot. Pitch fades down and out. Just keep the wheels in motion, so to speak. Worley, the Springfield, Ohio native. Really feels like his approach at the plate has taken a big step forward. Likes to kind of think along how they might pitch him. Although facing a new pitcher now third time through gives you a different calculation, I guess. Wave and a miss, good pitch. Young man who's passionate about school, passionate about his family. Facing this lefty here with runners at second and third and one out and trying maybe to poke one out to the outfield again. Good take, that's down. The count has gone full. hit batter and a double started this inning. Then Austin Hill was able to get the big pop-up on the infield. Caught by Davis. Big pitch here, it feels like. Here's the 3-2. Pulled the string just a bit, and Worley took it for 4. He got a couple of good takes in that sequence, not being too jumpy. This is Fraley. Hit a chopper to short. Not sure if they would have scored that a bobble and an error. Well, he's going to chop another one here to third. The throw is going to come home. What a scoop at the plate by Sizemore to get the force. With the big bounce, it looked like Wow Factor was going to get that lead runner and keep another run from scoring, but that throw came in, and then all of a sudden you were wondering if Sizemore could pick this one off the carpet. No dirt at home plate, carpet everywhere, and he on a bounce. What an effort. Add that to the list of really good defensive plays we've seen. That saved not just a run, but who knows, maybe more. And now it's up to Keegan Sawyer, who has a pair of base hits and a couple of RBIs, so he has been the big hitter. In the air, who wants it? Will the play be made? Oh, it dropped. The ball took a big bounce, and instead of getting that final out, it's going to chase home a handful of runs. When that ball was hit so high, I thought maybe this was going to get Austin Hill out of the inning. Not sure how deep these outfielders were playing, but this looks like an out here, but you see a lot of ground to cover, and all of a sudden at the very end, that ball takes a big bounce between 4 Wow Factor players. 2 more runs come across to extend the lead to 7-0. So the play at the plate was a big one, but it would have been bigger had that ball found a way to be caught. So instead now it's a 7-0 game. Maybe a little bit surprising with 2 outs that Fraley didn't score. He stopped at third, Sawyer at second, and this is Knox Brenning, who takes one down and in. So a 7-0 Gem City lead. Austin Hill fades one down and out as 2-0. Brenning again is lined out to right. He's bounced to second. Takes a pitch for a strike over the outside corner. Brenning really passionate about working out and getting stronger. I think that's a great asset to have at this level, this age, really probably any level. Got to push yourself in the weight room, though, just to keep increasing that body strength. Sends that one foul down the line and right. During COVID, he was in 4th grade. Hard to believe you start talking about these young men now and you think back. He was in 4th grade then. Started a 1-year challenge where he didn't miss a day working out. Worked hard to push himself in the weight room. So he started early in 4th grade, has continued that. The count is full here, and that pitch is high. It's going to go to the backstop. So high, in fact, it's going to allow the 8th run to score. Fraley comes across on ball 4/wild pitch. Sawyer goes to third as well. And a couple of big innings back-to-back now for Gem City. They got the 4-run third. They've plated 3 more runs here in the 4th. And Jackson Adams will bat. He had a 2-run single last inning. I think it shows you at any level, but really the youth level, when you have a chance to make a play to get an out, especially maybe a third out, and it just doesn't work out, that the possibility for a big frame balloons. You know, get in and off the field, be clean when free base runners, walks or whatnot, get on. Doesn't take much to kind of light the fire to a potential big inning. Wow Factor wants to get back to the dugout. They just got through their batting lineup in the bottom of the third for Gem City now. They're getting deep into this lineup a third time through. Batting here in the fourth inning with 8 runs across, and you see 2 more men in scoring position. Adams did pop to short his first time in, but singled a pair of runs in his last AB. See what he does 2-0 if he gets a pitch to hit, how patient he might be, how aggressive he might be against Austin Hill. Doesn't matter. Count was 3-0. So that's ball 4. So, a couple of walks back to back, and I think this is kind of what I touched on earlier when it comes to the big inning. You think about Austin Hill, he got that force at the plate and was close to getting out of this inning, and then you kind of have to throw a few more pitches. The fatigue or the frustration sets in just a bit. It becomes a little harder to get that third out. He is going to face a left-handed hitter here in Lucas Price and just about clipped him on the shoulder. So Price spun out of the way. Had he worn it, it would have provided another run, another RBI. Price did walk in the third. He also doubled down the line and left back in the second. Sends another one in the air down the line and left, and this is going to be a foul ball. Been a great student ever since the 4th grade. He's gotten all A's. As an 8th grader, he's taking 11th grade math. Wow. Pitch to Price. He's going to wave and miss. Taking those science and biology classes in high school. He's got a lot going on between school and volunteering at his church, playing baseball, starting this travel season. Right now, he wants to come through with the bases loaded. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count. That one's down and out. We asked these young men where we're going to find them in a certain number of years. Maybe 10 years down the road. You can tell he's an ambitious young man. He wants to be a catcher for the Cincinnati Reds with a degree in aerospace engineering. He's going to challenge and take on the entire world. I like it. 2-2 pitch. That one's not close. It's going to go to the backstop. Might this provide a run or a chance for an out of the plate? Safe is Sawyer coming across. Tack on another, being aggressive on the bases to add another run. This one went over everybody's head. It didn't quite get the carom back. It hit the netting rather than the backstop. Adams tried to get there to make the tag. It was close, but another run comes across, and hopefully Adams is okay. Got rolled just a bit there at the end in his haste to try and get down and cover the dish. It's 9-0 now, Gem City. Pitch to Price is swung on, foul tipped into the glove of Sizemore. That's a K to win the inning. Austin Hill could have probably enjoyed a little better frame with some more fortune or luck. It just didn't take place. 4 more come across for Gem City. The Throwbacks taking advantage of a little bit of everything. It was a great play at the plate to keep them from scoring, but they did tack on 4 in the inning. Bring you back into the East Cobb Baseball Complex, Marietta, Georgia, outside of Atlanta. Hey, you can scan that QR code, download the Perfect Game TV app. Be able to have all of our events, our shows, our games of the week, whatever. Encourage you to do that now. New pitcher as well. Going into the bottom of the fourth inning, we've seen Nico Mastro bat. Now we'll get to see him on the mound, replacing Oppenheimer, who was very good. I mean, 3 scoreless innings, worked around a couple of walks and some base runners, but for the most part, he was just outstanding. So this is Mastro from Kettering, Ohio. We'll tell you more about him as we go along. Another 2028 product, Van Buren Middle School. Wouldn't mind pitching or playing at Vanderbilt or Wright State. Big Mookie Betts fan. Oppenheimer, who was pitching, snuck out to right. This is the time we're going to see some different pitchers and some movement throughout the field in this game. And for wow factor, they're trying to get a few of these guys multiple at-bats. Rakocheski, the leadoff hitter, will hit. And the first pitch fades a little bit down from Mastro. There's a chopper foul off the bat of Rakocheski. I'll tell you a little bit about this kid, time permitting. Everybody has a little bit of a story to tell, if you will. Greencastle Middle School. That pitch way inside. His father inspires him. Dad played Division I college baseball at the University of Pitt. On the ground sharply to short. Ogden there to handle it and retires Rakocheski to begin the fourth inning. Dad, though, had cancer and couldn't practice baseball for a while and did end up beating it. But that year he had it, it was hard. And you could imagine that would be the case. So he certainly honors Dad. Braylon Edwards walked way back in the first, facing Mastro here. And that one fades outside. Again, Oppenheimer, the new right fielder, with Mastro on the mound. Sometimes you allocate your pitching in advance, but then if there's a possibility for a run rule and the game's short and you have to kind of adapt on the fly, I guess that falls under the category good problem to have because, again, this is just part of a larger event, the 14U PG Southeast Spring World Series, brought to you by Racetrack. Well, that sounded loud, but it's going to travel out to second base where it is put away and caught by Troutner. So far so good for Nico Mastro. This ball had a little sink to it. Watch this picked off the turf out there at second base. Before that was taken on a short hop. Mastro would love a 1-2-3 inning. He has been with this Throwbacks team since 7U. They've won state 5 years in a row. There's a lot of kids that have been in this organization, this team, for 6-7 years, which is really, I think, fun for the young men who get to know each other, and there's a certain continuity that comes with that in travel ball. Emerson Morris, the batter here, he lined his short at only time in. Mastro has a little bit of sling to him where that pitch kind of tails away from right-handers. Might be really tough for those right-handers to pick him up. It's not straight over the top. I don't know if you might call it three-quarters arm. You'll see it here. Right there, he's got a little snap or whip to it. Another ground ball to short. Ogden has been busy this inning. How about the pitching today from Gem City? First it was Oppenheimer. Now Mastro comes on. A 1-2-3 fourth inning. Sends us to the fifth. Gem City with a 9-0 lead in our perfect game of the week. 4 innings complete. Our perfect game of the week brought to you by Launch Hydrate Gem City. It's used a pair of 4-run innings, 4 in the third, 4 in the fourth, for a 9-0 advantage over Wow Factor. And Gem City back to the plate in the 5th to take on Austin Hill, who came on in the 4th. Left-hander from Arkansas. Back out there for a second frame. Looking at the bottom couple of hitters in the lineup, then the top. Saw Andrew Oppenheimer on the hill. And then, of course, Mastro followed it up. Here we go for Gem City in the 5th inning. This is Carson King. We've seen him running the bases. Now he gets his chance to bat. Johnny King, dad, the coach, gave a scouting report of his son with Darren in one of the perfect game shows this week, and that pitch in there for a strike. Believe he's hitting for Troutner here in the 5th. Hill working fast, trying to get some quick outs, quick strikes, if nothing else. King able to poke one out to right. Will this one fall? It does not. Caught in right field, so King made a bid for a base hit to begin the 5th inning, but he was retired. Franks has been everywhere in right, hasn't he? He made those 2 diving catches in the 1st and tracked that one down before it would drop. This is Mastro. So it was Troutner that King hit for. Wanted to tell you a little bit about Remy Troutner. We'll save that for another time. Nico Mastro on the ground, and that ball just kept right on rolling out there to center field. So Mastro will reach with a 1-out single. Of course, we're in run rule territory right now, so Gem City would like to tack on a little bit of insurance. I thought this ball might be handled on a bounce, but Davis trying to take it on that higher bounce rather than a short hop. And again, you get caught on the carpet every once in a while, depending on how hard that ball comes off the bat, what type of spin you get off the turf. You like to think you get true bounces, and you do. It's just maybe the speed or the acceleration. Play it differently than you would the dirt or a regular infield, but so many of these complexes around the country now on turf because of the issue with the weather, you just take it out of play. Ogden had a double in his last at bat. He drives this ball out towards right center field, but it's going to be caught. The play is made. The throwback to first is not in time. Ogden's had a couple of good swings. He wasted little time there, sending one out towards Robertson center. And now Oppenheimer will bat. We mentioned we saw him pitch, and boy, he was really impressive. Not just 3 scoreless innings, 3 hitless and scoreless innings. So this left-hander was smooth. He had the breaking ball working. I mean, that's really tough for anybody to hit. Certainly those left-handers getting some strikes at the top of the zone as well for Oppenheimer. And now batting for the 4th time. He's walked, he's singled, he popped up in his last AB. Sometimes we get a chance to introduce you to these young players that we just know we might be talking about at other showcases or events or tournaments going forward. Good pitch in there for a strike. Austin Hill trying to dial up some left-handed magic as well against Oppenheimer, a left-handed pitcher, a right-handed hitter. Stands in the back of the box, very upright stance. Oppenheimer smokes one to left. This ball's hit well, but it will be run down and caught in center field. That's a couple of good swings there from Ogden and Oppenheimer. Hit him to the wrong part of the park. Gem City doesn't score. Nice frame from Austin Hill. We go to the bottom of the inning. Wow Factor needs some runs. Now 9-0 in our perfect game of the week. Perfect game of the week, brought to you by Launch Hydrate. Sends us to the bottom of the fifth inning. Wow Factor needs to get on the board, in danger of that run rule of 8 after 5. Mastro was really good in the fourth inning, retiring all 3 that he faced. Wow Factor could be looking for its first hit. There was maybe a scoring discrepancy, whatever you want to rule it, in the third on a ground ball to third base. But other than that, a walk, and that's about it. So first it was Oppenheimer, now Mastro, and it looks like Knox Brenning is going to come on to pitch. So Brenning will become the third pitcher. We've seen him in the outfield, and now we'll see him on the mound facing Dane Franks. And Franks has made a couple of really good defensive plays. A guy who loves watching Drew Gilbert play, former Tennessee Volunteer, Astro minor leaguer turned Mets prospect. Franks flew out to center in his only at bat. Brenning was working too quickly for him. So Brenning trying to continue with what his teammates Oppenheimer and Mastro have done to this point. Chopper to the left side. This is going to be a long throw across the diamond, but how about the scoop at first from Fraley? Play was made by Ogden. We've seen a lot of Ogden already, and I thought that was almost kind of in no man's land right there, where maybe that was going to be equally between third and short, kind of a long throw, try and get a left-handed runner. But Ogden skipped one over there, and Fraley made the scoop. And this is Cam Roberts. Got a handful of defensive changes, as you might imagine. Roberts out of Mississippi. Told you a little bit about him before. He's a Ronald Acuna Mookie Betts fan. And that pitch elevated, cut and missed. Keegan Sawyer is now behind the plate, catching for the Throwbacks. Mastro went back to left field. That's going to be a wave and a miss. So Brenning has indeed followed up with the pitching. So Wow Factor in danger of seeing this game come to an end. Watch the movement here. This pitch was requested up. It was thrown up in the zone, and it gets the desired result. Charlie Rothbard will bat. He lined short. No, this should be Sizemore. I beg your pardon. Sizemore struck out looking his only time in. Will hit. Kentucky native. Well, Brenning is just filling up the zone right now. Gem City had a 4-run third inning, a 4-run fourth. Their pitching has been fantastic. Brenning gets a chopper towards short. That's Ogden again coming through that baseball, making the play, retiring Sizemore. And it's a 9-0 Gem City W. Boy, the pitching from Oppenheimer, 3 scoreless. Mastro, he had a perfect fourth. Brenning with a perfect fifth. More than enough to frustrate Wow Factor offensively today. And Gem City had the big innings. And it wasn't exactly pounding the ball around the yard, but it was putting him in play with a 4-run third, a 4-run fourth. They got that first run right out of the gates, and that's their 9, scoring over 3 of their 5 frames for a 9-0 win. Let's take a look at some of our highlights here today. The perfect game of the week, again, brought to you by Launch Hydrate from the East Cobb Complex. Back in the first, this was Keegan Sawyer, able to single to center, made it 1-0, plated that first run. That was kind of a big run. You felt like just to get on the board for Gem City. But, again, they would have a lot of damage coming later on. This is Derek Ogden. A couple of plays were made out there in right field. How about this effort from Davis? The scoop, the flip. What a fantastic effort. Really, we could fill up a highlight reel just for the defensive plays that were made. A lot of balls that were awfully tough to track and center, but, again, the plays were made. Coming up next Saturday, 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central. Another game of the week. D-backs Midway against the East Cobb Astros Navy. Can't wait to see you for that one. Always fun to have you aboard. This is our 14U event here in East Cobb. Seeing some of the highlights as well that came in the fourth inning. Gem City Couple of big frames, outstanding pitching, outstanding defense. Part of a 9-0 run rule victory over 5 innings. So for our entire crew, I'm Brett Dolan, thanking you for tuning in. Our Perfect Game of the Week brought to you by Launch Hydrate. So long from East Cobb, and thanks for watching Perfect Game TV.